deep within an antique shop cluttered with dusty relics of the past. There stood a mirror that seemed to hold an eerie secret. Its ornate silver frame was tarnished, its glass cloudy with age, yet something about it compelled Elias, a young man with an insatiable curiosity, to take a closer look. The mirror was not like any other. It didn't reflect Elias's image back at him, but instead showed a dark and foreboding future. This discovery led him down a path of intrigue and danger as he desperately tried to break the curse of the mirror before his own reflection vanished into its ominous depths. Every time Elias gazed into the mirror, he saw a different vision of his life, each one more terrifying than the last. He witnessed his closest friends and family succumbing to untimely deaths, their faces frozen in expressions of pain and fear. Then there were visions of himself, lying lifeless in various gruesome scenarios, always with a single crimson rose placed over his heart. These visions were not random. They were fragments of potential futures, all leading to the same horrifying conclusion. The visions were a warning, trying to tell him something crucial. But what? And how could he prevent the doom that awaited him? Determined to find answers, Elias turned to the only person he knew might help him, Professor Evelyn Wright, a renowned expert in the arcane and the supernatural. Despite her initial skepticism, the professor agreed to investigate the mirror. Together, they delved into ancient texts, hoping to uncover the mirror's origins and the nature of its curse. What they discovered was a tale both fascinating and terrifying. The mirror, it seemed, was no ordinary object. It was a relic from a forgotten era when the veil between the worlds was thin and magic flowed freely. But this magic came at a price. The mirror had been created using dark magic, fueled by the pain and suffering of others. And now it was cursed, trapping the souls of those who gazed into it, forcing them to relive their worst fears and ultimately draining the life force from their bodies. As Elias listened to the professor's findings, he felt a growing sense of dread. The visions he had seen were not just warnings. They were consequences. Each vision was a possible future that could become his present if he didn't break the mirror. Curse, but...
The answer, the professor revealed, lay in the mirror itself, hidden within its depths.
But to access it, he would need to venture into the mirror world, a dangerous realm where his physical form would be left vulnerable and his mind would be bombarded with terrifying images. Despite the risk, Elias was determined to act. With the professor's guidance, he prepared for the journey. Using protective runes and wards, they hoped to shield Elias from the mirror world's influence, allowing him to reach the source of the curse. As Elias stood before the mirror, ready to step through its reflective surface, he looked back at the professor, her face etched with concern. "Be careful, Elias," she said, her voice echoing in the stillness. "Whatever you do, do not lose sight of your purpose." With a final nod, Elias closed his eyes and stepped into the mirror. He found himself in a twisted version of his own room, the air heavy with despair. The walls seemed to ooze a black tar, and the furniture was gnarled and twisted like the roots of some ancient tree. As he moved through this unsettling landscape, he began to understand the true nature of the mirror world. It was a manifestation of his own fears and doubts, a projection of the negative emotions that clouded his mind. Suddenly, the room shifted, revealing a dark figure standing in the center of it all. It seemed to be made of the same dark tar that oozed from the walls, its form constantly shifting and changing. This was the source of the curse, a creature that fed on fear and
with a sense of growing urgency. Elias realized he couldn't stay in this place any longer.
He had to destroy the creature and break the Mir's curse before it consumed him completely. But how could he defeat a creature made of his own fears? The answer, he realized, lay within him, buried beneath his anxieties and doubts. Drawing upon his deepest reserves of courage and hope, Elias began to fight. The battle was fierce, and the creature fought back with every ounce of strength, hurling bolts of dark energy that nearly overwhelmed Elias. But he held firm, his determination fueled by the love and support of those who believed in him. Slowly but surely, Elias began to gain the upper hand. The creature, sensing its demise, grew increasingly desperate, lashing out wildly in a last-ditch effort to save itself. But Elias was ready. With a final surge of power, he struck a decisive blow, shattering the creature into 1,000,000 pieces. As the last remnants of the creature dissipated, the mirror world began to collapse around him. The dark tar that had formed the walls and furniture solidified, turning into jagged obsidian shards. The room he had once known became a tomb of shattered glass and twisted metal. But amidst the chaos, Elias felt a sense of overwhelming relief. He had broken the curse. With a final surge of strength, he stumbled out of the mirror, collapsing to his knees in the antique shop. The mirror behind him, now nothing but a pile of dusty shards. The visions had been real, but they were over. He had stared into the abyss and emerged victorious. As the dust settled, Elias looked around the antique shop, suddenly aware of the countless lives touched by the mirror's curse over the years. He thought of those whose reflections had vanished, trapped forever in the mirror world. A profound sadness washed over him, but it was mingled with gratitude. He'd broken the curse, setting countless souls free. In the days that followed, Elias worked with Professor Wright to ensure that the remaining fragments of the mirror were destroyed. Each shard was carefully sealed away, their dark magic neutralized. As for the antique shop, it remained a silent testament to the horrors that had unfolded within its walls. Though the immediate danger had passed, Elias knew that the battle against fear and despair was never truly over. The mirror had shown him the darkness that lay dormant within him, but it had also revealed the strength and courage that resided there as well. He'd faced his fears and won, proving to himself that even in the darkest of times, hope and love could prevail. The curse of the mirror may have been broken,
But its haunting echoes lingered in Elias's mind,
serving as a constant reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of confronting one's fears. The antique shop, once filled with the promise of forgotten treasures, now stood as a symbol of the shadows that can lurk in the most unsuspecting of places. And so the tale of Elias and the cursed mirror became a legend, whispered in hushed tones around crackling fires on cold winter nights. A story of courage and despair.